I went to his house. His wife was there. He was there, but he was on a couch. You ever saw somebody look like they about to go? The Lord woke me up and he said, hey, I want you to speak to the church about health. I was like, no way.
A year ago, I think I was angry with God. It's scary to give up your favorite foods that give you comfort. It's scary to kill any of your idols.
Like I always say, you don't have to live a life of healing when you get sick. You can live a life of healing every day.
All right, Gio. So we are here, podcast episode that I've been excited about. I know you have as well. We've been talking back and forth for a while now, and it almost feels like everything in the world has tried to stop us from being able to be on this episode, but we're here today, and that's what matters most. So I would love, bro, to just dive right into your story, because I know that we're a little bit limited on time, but God is still going to glorify himself. So I want to start off by saying that. But yo, I'm not going to talk anymore. I want to hear your story. Who are you? What has God done in your life? How has God brought you to where you are today? I know that's a super loaded question,
I got you.
But go ahead, man. Take it off. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I might interject with a question or two or something like that, but
perfect.
Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric, for having me today on your platform. You know, my name is Giovanni Henry, Brooklyn native, two-time veteran. I served in the United States Marine Corps, and
thank you for your service.
Army. I'm a proud husband, proud dad as well. But above all else, I'm a believer in Lord Jesus Christ. And I strongly believe that as believers, we have to steward our body well by what we eat. Right. So, you know, I'm an aspiring naturopathic practitioner. I strongly believe in falling, you know, into the principles of eating what God has created that comes out of the ground and was grown in the tree and even in the sea.
That's dope, man. So tell me, how did you get there?
Oh man, so you know, it all started, you know, just being very honest. When I was working at a Italian restaurant in New York City.
Okay.
It was a guy who was a big time position over there overseas for that company, and him and I used to always reason. And he showed me a picture where he used to be a bodybuilder. And I said, how did you become so shredded? He said, well, why is the cow so fat and healthy? And why is that a silverback gorilla could break a man in half? What do they eat? And I'm like, I don't know. He said veggies, fruits. And at the time, I was 215 pounds preparing to go to the United States Marine Corps. So all I thought, I could work out and eat whatever I want. But this man said, hey, your plate the rice needs to be the size of your fist. And then you need to have a little bit of protein and, you know, have a bunch of, you know, salad. Right. Then what happened was I used to go to the gym before I had the conversation, the gym like 4 or 5 times a week. And I used to stop off at a Jamaican spot, have a large rice and peas. Let me tell you something. Caribbean, our large. It's a large, bro.
Word.
Yeah, it could go for 2 people. Rice and peas, fried chicken with the sauce, macaroni salad, and plantains.
Yeah.
But then after I eat that, and I'll have like a tall glass of Sprite and some Tropicana, and my heart will begin to squeeze. And then I'll go to sleep, and I'll feel congested, and I'll feel lethargic. And I'll do that like twice a week or whatnot. And when that man told me that message, that's when the journey started of me going on this, you know, whole health adventure. You know, I joined the Marines. I got pretty married early, right? I was married twice. This is my second marriage. And what happened was my ex-wife at the time became a vegan. And I said, you know, I'll become a vegan too. I'll go to Japan for 6 months, be like a pescatarian. I'll be a vegetarian. And I said, when I come back, when I land back, I'll be a vegan. And I was a vegan, but I was eating foods like soy-based meals.
Yeah. Sure.
Still artificial. Long story short, you know, life moved on. Her and I moved apart. I joined the Army, right? And when I joined the Army, God blessed me when I was on duty. I was doing 24-hour duty. So imagine being in a building like this for 24 hours. You're watching everybody, making sure that the exit is locked and whatnot. And I gave this sea moss to a gentleman. His name is Prince Darnell. And he said, yo, this bad boy right here helped me out. So I grew up on sea moss, but I didn't know the health benefits of it. Okay. So God told me in that moment, he said, hey, I want you to sell sea moss. So everything started downloading. The name, the slogan, 1 tablespoon a day keeps the mucus away. And from there, my journey started to begin. But I was eating fish, lamb, turkey. Right. So I was a vegan from 2017 all the way to 2019. But when I was in Okinawa at the time, backtracking, I was feeling for some chicken. So we went to this Jamaican spot, ate some jerk chicken, but my stomach couldn't really digest it well. But fast forward, when I was in the army, I was eating like, turkey, lamb, snapper, right? I was eating good. But while I'm selling the algae sea moss, a man said to me, yo, you gotta watch Seaspiracy. So I watch it, and a doctor that was on What the Health, who's a vegan as well, he said the reason why fish gets omega-3 fatty acids because they eat algae. So I said, wait, I'm eating the middleman and taking the main source, so I had to cut off the middleman. So with that being said, it's just time after time, God been put me in certain situations, and he has shown me that he is Jehovah Rapha by putting his power in the creation that he has created. For instance, we know that ginger is good for you because it helps with nasal congestion, boosts your immunity. But the only reason that happens because God is the one who put those health benefits therein. And I could share with you a situation where I did a Zoom call, a health Zoom call. Like, this is years ago. I didn't realize what I was doing before God was calling me to do already. It was just preparing me. And I saw a gentleman in there, and I just felt like led to like speak with him. He was in the army as well. He lived like less than 10 minutes away from me. This is when I was stationed in El Paso, Texas. He had like a liver disease. It was a rare genetic liver disease. Pay attention. I went to his house. His wife was there. He was there, but he was on a couch. You ever saw somebody look like they're about to go?
Yeah.
That's what he looked like. Young man, mid-20s. And his wife said his energy is low. So at the time I rarely knew about like protocols and herbs and stuff. But I say, here, what? I'm gonna give you some sea moss. I'm gonna give you some sarsaparilla. I'm gonna give you a gut cleanser. And I don't know, man. I don't know how long after, but it wasn't too long. He FaceTimed me. He was in the pool. The sun was shining, and he was happy, full of energy. I said, wow, God, look at you. Like, you're Jehovah Rapha. You're the Lord who heals. And then when I spoke to him recently, he told me that particular disease, they says it's a genetic disease, but he has it no more. And usually genetic diseases do not go away. So somebody's lying. Then I started doing research, and I started going on, and God been put me in certain situations where, because of the grace of God, I was able to meet certain individuals, and he just showed me on and on, like, hey, you see, I can do this, like from high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, high cholesterol, and the list goes on and on.
That's crazy, man. Like, absolutely amazing, and a very logical conclusion that God obviously is the orchestrator
Yes,
of all
sir.
that, right? Like, he's the one who authored all of these different things that we experience on the daily, right?
Right.
So it's a beautiful way of putting it, to say that he's the one that's behind it all. I love that, really. I'd love to hear a little bit more about like like the backstory, if you will, which you kind of already did do, just like on the personal tip. Right. First of all, I'm wondering, like, when did you get saved? Like, how long were you in the church and all that stuff,
yeah.
right? Secondly, when God's speaking to you about this, what's his motive, right? Because I hear you talking right now, and I'm hearing the facts and everything, which are super valuable. And what's curious for me, what's jumping out to me is like, I wonder, why Giovanni? Why Gio? Why did God choose you for that message? Because there's always a connection there, right?
Oh man, Eric,
So I'm wondering, like, what's that connection? What's about your story? Why did God say, this is what I need? Like, for me, God has used me to talk to people about suffering a lot, to talk to people about discipleship and purpose. Those are my things, right? And granted, I think that God doesn't call us to talk about all things because we don't have the capacity for
yes,
it.
yeah.
And then we wouldn't need each other,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Like, then
yes.
we wouldn't need each other because, like, we might sit down right now and have this conversation, and I'm hearing you, and it's opening up parts of my brain, making me wonder, making me think, oh, how can I implement this into my life? And is God trying to speak to me, right? And vice versa. And that's how the church is. That's what God uses the body for us to minister one to another. And where my mind is going, like I said, is just understanding the depths of that story. That's kind of my thing where I always go. I'm like wondering, why did God speak to you about this, right? Like, were you going through some type of physical ailment, right, if you will? Like, I don't know if it's that, but you know what I'm saying? That's where my mind's going. So share a little bit about that with me.
I'm gonna answer the first question you asked me. How did I get saved?
Yeah.
Man, I always been curious. I went to a Roman Catholic church and a Baptist church as a kid. My mom never forced me to go to church, but I went. Then I remember seeing people praying to these idols, and I said to myself, why are they doing that? Then when I went in my room, I remember reading the Bible. God said, call anything in my name, I will do it. So I stopped going to the Roman Catholic Church because it showed, hey, he never said pray to saints. He said, call anything in my name, and I will do it. Then I started going on a journey about studying about Islam.
How old were you, by the way?
Oh, I was 12.
Oh, wow.
I was 12.
Yeah, that's early.
And what I appreciate, my mom never forced her beliefs on me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she just see me on the computer, religiousfacts.org, studying, buying different books. And I used to be into all type of things. But I knew I knew that Christ has won my heart. Long story short, you know, I used to study Freemasonry, study missing books of the Bible. Then it all started when I was in Jamaica and I started wanting to get more into my faith and learn about Christ. My church mother, shout out my mother Douse, she said, she's the one who basically like guided me in a way, right? The Lord used her. And I said, oh, before I leave to Jamaica, I'd like to read the sinner's prayer, right? I didn't know no better. I'm just hungry for him. I didn't know better. They pour all on my head, they pray over me. But next thing, when I came back to Jamaica, I was like, I want to get baptized. My dad and mom said, you're too young. I cried. And I remember I went to my church mother, great aunt. She said, don't worry, one day you're going to be baptized with the water, blood, and fire. At least she said that. I didn't understand. I'm a kid. I'm crying. I want to get baptized now.
Yeah.
Went back to Jamaica for another summer. I used to always go because my dad is Jamaican. Sorry, let me clarify. I used to go every summer. And I had a dream of myself being dipped in white. And the Lord's telling me, hey, you're going to have to get baptized. And the enemy was saying, nah, you can wait until you're like 18 or whatever. And I think I was like 16 or 17 when I got baptized. Got baptized, backslide, then, you know, recommitted my life to God. And next thing, I had to be around community in that sense of way.
Yeah.
Now, about this calling, about all these things that's going on, that the Lord used me in certain situations, people dealing with ailments. It was back in 2024. It was on a Saturday. The Lord woke me up and he said, hey, I want you to speak to church about health. I was like, no way. They're not going to listen. That is not, I can imagine the comments. Like, oh, it has nothing to do with salvation. It's not important. You're not going to go to hell. Eat whatever you want. Just pray over it. I'm going to get into that.
Sounds very American.
Right. So I woke up and, you know, my wife is my witness. We went on our ministry call, right? Because usually on Saturdays we went on to rejoin it. And a good friend of mine, his wife said, hey, you guys should start talking about your using your gifts in this ministry. And she said, like, Gio, you can speak about health. I said, oh, that must be God. Okay. Because he told me this morning, and in my head I was like, but she don't know that he said that. So I said, oh, wow, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. And that's when everything started going from there. From there, everything just started. He started, you know, just moving in my life in that direction, calling me to do that. You know, so that's my backstory. You know, my backstory is that the way I came to Christ, I did a lot of studying, but not only that, he revealed himself to me through his word. And I always said, I can't go nowhere because he has my heart. I can't afford to go to any other religion. And then this calling happened in 2024.
Man, that's awesome to hear that he put it in your heart and then confirmed it in the same day. Like,
yes, sir.
Made it clear as day that this is what he wanted you to do. And I think it's really amazing how God can confirm the direction that he wants us to go in, that he wants us to pursue, how he wants us to like glorify him. So more power to you, bro, for following the call, because not everybody does it. A lot of people just ignore it and keep going about their day, but you're listening.
Yes,
you're
sir.
listening to him. So, bro, so I'm wondering, like, when you think about everything that the church is experiencing, you actually remind me of somebody who I met online who I now consider a friend. He keeps trying to convince me to move to Florida, actually. It's funny.
Sunshine State.
But yeah, he's a guy named JT, and he runs a program called Empty Your Bucket. And he's a lot in the health space as well. And one of the things he said when I interviewed him for the podcast, he said that in America, speaking from the American context, he said that Christians get baptized with their plate above water.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never heard of
That's
that.
a bar, right?
Yo,
I was
wow.
like, that's crazy, because he's like, he says that food is the Christian crack. That's the Christian crack,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because we give up a whole bunch of stuff when we come to faith, but gluttony is a very, very,
Dangerous.
very pervasive
Dangerous. Yeah.
in our culture. And so I'm curious, like hearing that from your perspective, and thinking about how much pain that is causing the church collectively, but also its individual members.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like you think about that guy who you said that you saw him on the couch and he looks like he was ready to go.
Yeah.
Less on the like, oh, this is what we need to do, you know, because I'm a firm believer that the information's out there, and if people want to know more, they can follow you, because this is the work that you're doing. They can learn more, but more so about what's actually happening internally, what's happening in people's hearts.
Yes, sir.
What's happening on the day-to-day. What's coming up? What has God ministered to you about that we need to be aware of?
Okay. So essentially, he asked me what is the root cause of the
Yeah,
in
that's
the
a good way of
context
putting it.
you know, in America of health being in the church, right?
Yeah.
Especially eating, is lack of self-control. Most chronic illnesses, the foundation is not just the food; it's a lack of self-control.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing there. And comfortability. For instance, bro, like I understand. I've been there. I had roti, curry chicken, curry. I had the best meals at all times. You know what I'm saying? You and I kind of share the same culture. So we had
Yeah, it was very similar.
similar. It was great
Yeah.
meals. But once again,
Great, big, large meals, big plates, lots of rice. Yeah.
exactly. And you know what I don't understand is, like, just to allude to what I'm about to say, Christ gave up his life for us, right? He was a living sacrifice for us, right? So when you become a believer, you should be able to walk the way how he walked, and to be able to be a living sacrifice for Christ. That's mentally, that's physically, and that's emotionally. And the list goes on and on. The thing is this, like, we want to pray. I've seen this happen so many times. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. Just correct me. You can rebuke me. But many times I've been in different churches where the announcer says, hey, pray for such and such, such and such. They have stroke, they have diabetes, they have cancer, pray for them. But after church, we go downstairs and we eat the meals that's killing us. We're going against what we prayed for. Like I always say to a lot of my brothers and sisters in Christ, you don't have to live a life of healing when you get sick. You can live a life of healing every day. If you really take the time to understand, I'm not telling you to become plant-based. Don't do what I'm doing. If you choose to, so be it. Take the time to read what's going in your body.
Right.
This is not your body. You honor God with tithing. You honor God by being obedient to him, but at least read the word of God and know that this is not your body. It's not. That's biblically. It's not your body. So you should choose your best to look and say, all right, this is going into my body because of XYZ. This is the ingredients thereof. Because you're going to see the same thing over and over again. We pray over the food. We say, Lord, bless this food with grace and merit nutrients to our body. But who you lying to? Chick-fil-A is not nutritious.
Yeah.
McDonald's is not nutritious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has no nutrients in it. You know what I mean? So that's why the root cause is to answer your question. The core of it is lack of self-control and as well comfortability. It's hard. I get it. You know, who wants to eat fruits all day? Who wants to eat organic, everything? You know, I get it. A lot of people tell me in certain places where they live, these things are not available. But thank God for Instacart. Whole Foods even have a service. They partner up with Amazon and they drop the foods off to you. So everything is accessible to us now. It's just up to you. Like you said, it's up to you. The information is out there. You can go ahead and research and do what you want to do.
Yeah. I think another option that people may actually need to consider, that this is going to sound very far-fetched and out there. I don't know if you've thought about this.
Yes, sir.
But I think another option is honestly moving. If you have to leave the country to make better options for yourself, at the end of the day, what you gain back, and we're talking about a huge gain, like as far as like your health, right?
Yes, sir.
Longevity, feeling good every day. You know, like I've been, my health journey has been very interesting. I always make a joke that if I look at a cookie, I gain 2 pounds because like I put on weight very, very easily. I also can lose weight fairly easily, not as easily as when I was younger. But my health journey's been very, very interesting. Like I've lost over 50 pounds multiple times throughout my life. I lost 100 pounds 2 times before, over 100. And so I've been through it. I've been through the ringer. And I will say that what you gain back when you feel good is like, it's not even a comparison. Like when your body, if I don't know what's the heaviest you've ever been or the most unhealthy, because you could be extremely skinny and still be extremely unhealthy.
You could say that again. That's so true. Yes.
Like I've been heavier weights and also had a complete clean bill of health every time I go to the doctor. And then I also know people who are like sticks and they internally are high cholesterol, all that crazy stuff, right? So, but either way, what's interesting about that is that you really, while that can be deceiving, what is not deceiving is whether you feel good or you don't. Like, do you wake up feeling like you have energy? Do you wake up feeling clear-minded and not foggy? Do you have the energy to get through your day? Or are you crashing by the middle of the day, even though you still got 7-8 hours of sleep? You know what I'm saying? Like, those are things that you can't put a monetary value on. The reason why I say this option of moving is because while there is lots of options now, like Whole Foods, through Amazon, Instacart, some people are spending money on crappy food because they don't got it like that. They don't have the money.
Yes, sir.
Their budget doesn't allow for it. And now there's room. This is such a much larger conversation. And because we're stuck on time, it's like, it sucks because granted, there's a lot of different avenues to go through that. Like we might talk about, okay, well, how are we budgeting our money? Whole different conversation, right?
Yeah.
But for some people, they're just in a place where they don't have the privilege to be able to get all organic, right? So an alternative option to that is, do you need to start praying to God about, do you need to move to another country that has a lower cost of living so that your family can live healthier or you can live healthier, and you start some different type of business that you can do over there? Like, is this, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but maybe this is for somebody, right?
Yeah.
It is another option, right? And I think that what I'm trying to drive home is that there's something about me that I've had a couple friends tell me. My wife tells me it all the time. I just don't give up. This most recent weight battle for me has been, I don't know, like maybe 8 years since I hurt my knee playing basketball. And I just haven't been able to get back to my ideal weight. If you sit down and you talk to my wife, she's constantly reminding me, because I always feel, I have this feeling, this is me being vulnerable here. I have this feeling like, oh man, I'm not doing enough. And then she'll list to me all the things that I'm doing. Now, granted, there are areas that God is still working on me on. I've gone through the emotional eating. I've ate before out of boredom. I ate before out of like anger and bad emotions, which can be very bad for your health. And God has brought me through a lot of that. But one thing she always reminds me is all the things that I have done and have been doing. And sometimes I'm like, I'll feel defeated and I'll look at everything and be like, yo, everything I'm doing, I'll lose 30 pounds, 40 pounds. And then something happens, like I get sick, gain it all back. Like, and I'm not saying like a sickness. I'm saying like getting a cold, the flu, and then bronchitis 3 months in a row.
Right.
And now I'm out of commission. I'm out of the gym, eating crappy too. You gain it all back, right? Life circumstances are always going to create a atmosphere for you that don't make it ideal for you to reach your goals, and for you to not even just your goals, but for you to just live a good life.
You can say that again, man.
Right? Just a good life.
You can say that again.
Like waking up feeling well rested, having energy, being happy about yourself, Like these basic things that you can't put money on. Circumstances in life are not ideal. They're not. You have to get creative. That was a super long-winded way of saying that, but I could be a little bit long-winded.
Hey, no,
But I
no.
really feel like that's for somebody, because like, even if you feel like everything is against you right now, like I said, one of the things about me, I don't give up. And though it's been 8 years, I still haven't gave up. I haven't been able to get back to where I want to be. It's a lot harder now as a father of 4 daughters, running my own business, all those things. One thing I'm not doing, to myself at least, I'm not letting myself make excuses for myself and saying, you know what? This is just the cards I've been dealt. I keep
Bro,
trying.
This is powerful, bro. I feel like, yo, this is nice. This is nice. Keep going. I
No,
like it.
because you just like, you have to keep trying, and we all have our things, right? For me, it might be my weight. For you, it might be something else that you've been dealing with. For all of us, there's something that we are trying to overcome, that God is trying to encourage us to believe in ourselves, or better yet, to believe in him and in his power and his might to transform us.
Yes, sir.
And you can't give up. Maybe you got to get a little bit creative. Your money is stretched thin here. Maybe it's time to start praying. Like, God, okay, I can't afford to live a fully organic lifestyle in New Jersey, in Cali, in Texas, in New York, whatever, right? But maybe in another country, I could have a remote job, or I could start my own business locally. I'll have a lot more money. Not more money, but you know what I'm saying? Like, cost of living is lower.
Good. Yeah.
And a lot of these countries aren't doing all the artificial stuff that the US is doing. So you're already in a better place anyway. It's like,
You're pushing the
and
needle,
that's
yeah.
scary. It's scary. It's scary to give up your favorite foods that give you comfort. It's scary to kill any of your idols, whether your idol is comfort, whether your idol is yourself, whether your idol is food, whether your idol is the place that you live in. Is scary. But God is calling you to kill an idol. And sometimes you have to get creative in the way that you chop its head off. David didn't immediately take Goliath's sword out of his sheath and cut his head off. He had to use a sling first. And after he used his sling, that was his best tool, God gave him the tool that cut the head off of his giant. His own enemy's sword. And so I say all that to say that I want to like encourage people to not give up.
Bond.
Because it's been, 8 years is a long time, bro. In my ideal weight, I was at 205. I was playing basketball every day. I felt great. Had no kids, so it's easier, right? But hurt my knee, like completely blasted it. 4 or 5 months of bed rest, literally could not get out of bed. And because I look at cookies and gain weight, everything came back. And it's been downhill since then. I have every reason, my wife tells me I have every reason to have given up already, and I still haven't. It might not look like it. That's another thing that I want to encourage people with. Your life might not look like the work you've put in.
Yo, you come here with a message.
It's true, right?
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Your
Because
life might not look like it.
Because you know the thing is, bro, like sometimes, like starting January 2nd, like my wife and I life changed for the better. But we're in a season where we don't have to chase anything. But sometimes you cast seeds and it's so tempting as a believer where you just want to lift up the soil and be like, where's the sprouts? Because you're working, but you're like, where's the fruits of the labor? But we see that he answers, because the Bible says that the Lord is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. The psalmist wrote it. But like, yo, what you saying is so true. Because I know when you first started, you had all these cameras.
No.
But when you started getting 1, started getting 2, started getting 3, then you get the lights, you're like, wow. And I can imagine, I don't know your heart, but I can imagine what else you praying for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you working hard towards it. But man, you hit it on the nail, bro. Like, what?
God is faithful, bro.
Yeah.
And like, the way I look at it, the way I'm, especially after this conversation, the way I'm looking at it right now is that this is my cross to bear. And it's going to come to a point where I finally die on this cross, and that's it. It's done. What comes after the cross? Resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
But death comes before you come back alive. A lot of people want to come alive, but they haven't died yet. And the scripture calls us to die to ourselves. Right now, even, I'm asking myself, God, what are you calling me to die to? And I know the answer to a lot of those things because he's already told me. He told us. We know. Sometimes we'd be asking like we dumb. Like, hey, God, what you want me to do? What's the last thing he told you to do that you didn't do yet? You asking why God ain't speaking. He ain't speaking because he spoke. So whatever it is that he called us to die to, we need to die to. When you die, then you can come back alive. So when I finally die to this cross, that's when God is going to unlock whatever is needed inside of me for me to figure out how to glorify God in this body that he gave me. A year ago, so part of my process, right, to share it with you, a year ago, I was just, I think I was angry with God because I was like, you know how there's the different body types, like, you know, back in the day, the kings were the ones who they put on a lot of weight very easily because they could last through famine.
Right.
And so it was like the inverse. Now it's like, we don't need that, you know, but then I think it's like mesomorph. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know you're talking about far as I know
like
you're talking
the
about the
body
analogy with the
types.
kings. Yeah.
Exactly. So like I have the one where you put on the weight, right? Like I last through famine, but we don't got no famines out here, dog.
Yeah.
So it's not a blessing, right?
Right.
So part of me, like, I remember being upset because I'm just like, God, why'd you make it so hard for me? Why is it that the only times I've lost 100 pounds was through extreme measures, working out twice a day, playing hours of basketball, which is not ideal, right? Or going on extreme, not even diets, but extreme restrictions, right? And I don't know why this is the body that God gave me. My brother, on the other hand, my younger brother, eats way more than I do, eats worse than I do. And he's a six-pack since he was like 15. I never had a six-pack in my life, bro. But he's had it since he was 15 years old. The body that he has a crazy metabolism. And it's a very beautiful blessing for him. And now he's into fitness, so he eats a lot better and works out a lot. So it's like, this is perfect for him, right? And I remember thinking even about that at one point, thinking like, man, why couldn't I be more like my brother who has this body that just burns fat like crazy? Where me, on the other hand, I'm eating less than him. Phases in my life, I'm eating cleaner than him. And I can't lose 5 pounds unless I'm also hitting the gym twice a day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know why God gave me this body. I don't know why God gave me this cross, but he did. Do I want to sit here and pout about it? Or do I want to just let myself die so I could come back alive? That's what it comes down to. That's my point. And I feel like everybody has a version of that. I feel like we all have something. It's just a little bit harder for us than other people. And we look at it as a curse when really it's a blessing. God has called you to conquer that cross, that valley. And through his strength, you can.
That's so true. That's true, man. Did you die? You have to die.
You have to die. We have to die. We die to ourselves. Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to interrupt you very quick for a moment just to talk to you about Patreon. Now, Patreon is simply a place where we can post additional content, behind the scenes stuff, extra stuff, ideas that you guys might be coming up with. And really what it comes down to is it's another way for you to support us financially. Now, Valley of the Heroic is run as a digital ministry, and many of you are so part of what we are doing here by supporting, by watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. If you didn't hit that subscribe button, you better do so right now. But some of you might be looking for a way to get more involved, and that would be the logical next step. Supporting through Patreon or through any other way will help us to continue to put this content together for you. And hopefully in the future for us to continue to grow and expand our efforts to reach more people in more beautiful ways and continue to help Valley of the Org to grow. So before I continue to ramble, I just wanted to tell you guys that and invite you to take a look at the Patreon page. If you have any questions, shoot me a message somewhere, either through Instagram or leave a comment down below. And if you feel led by the Holy Spirit to do so, become a member. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.
I want to share something with you. A good friend of mine, his mom, right? The Lord told me to tell her to like reach out to her and help her with her health. This is the beginning of the calling, bro. And I'm nervous because I heard it all, man. Like, you know, you ever had those, like, you know, you don't want to hear what anybody has to say. You rather be disobedient, which is not good to do.
Yeah.
That's not good to do. So I came to her about it. She said, oh, let me pray about it. Well, she said, well, all right. She confessed. She said the reason why she said let me pray about it because, you know, she really didn't want to, you know, get into the health. But, you know, she was dealing with high blood pressure and she was on blood thinners. Bro, it's not easy, bro. Like, you're calling about teaching about suffering. You probably dealt with people who rejected you. You probably, God gave you a blueprint to give them and they probably just said, nah. And they still sit there, right? My wife and I gave her a protocol. Bro, I don't remember how she looked before. But the person I'm looking at now, she reversed backwards. She looks young. Her skin is glowing. I remember I gave her a protocol and because she said the Lord told her to stop eating meat. Gave her a protocol about she only supposed to drink. Because what I teach is to heal the body, you have to clean the gut, clean the blood, and as well use certain herbs to tackle that certain ailment. So for her, I had to put her on sarsaparilla to clean the blood because sarsaparilla cleans toxins out of the blood. And she said, oh yeah, Gio, I did it. And I didn't put no sweetener. I add no sugar. I'm serious with this thing. But meanwhile, Eric, it wasn't that easy in the beginning. Because I remember one of the first people I spoke with, she was like in her 30s. She had stage 3 colon cancer. Wow. And she said her mom never cooked for her. She only had microwave foods. And she has at the time, she had a 3-year-old daughter and she was doing the same thing to her daughter. Yeah. Do you see the pattern? And I sent her the colon cleanse, which my wife and I have with our brand. She got it, but she ghosted us because she was not ready to die. She was not ready to die to herself, you know? Yeah. And that's the thing. We're learning that, bro. You taught me something too, because some things we have to die to be able to come alive. Yeah. Bro, that's crazy. When I look back, I'm like, yo, some people were willing to die. It was crazy how you say it, willing to die. Willing to die, yeah. But yo, bro, that's amazing. I'm sitting here getting a word. I'm like, yo, what? That's all I could say, man.
Yeah. No, I hear you, bro. Like, I really, first off, want to say thank you so much for being here. And I'm sure I would love to have you back again for another conversation. I know that we were a little bit short on time this time, but I still feel like there was a lot of value here.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was short. I feel like it was good.
Yeah.
I'm like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same. Like God made good use of our time. And bro, thank you again. Yeah. Is there any last thing you would like to share? How can people get in contact with you actually?
Right, so the best way to contact me is at the real Giovanni D. Henry. That's my Instagram. At the real Giovanni D. Henry. My wife and I, faith-based herbal supplement brand called faithandroots.com. So our Instagram is faithandroots. My message, my message I would like to leave before I go, before we go about our day, I always tell people this. How can you say you believe in God and not in His creation? You invest in your health now, so later on you don't have to invest in hospital bills. Yeah. Remember, it's a triangle. And unfortunately in America, this is how it runs. There's a triangle. You're in the middle, right? Fast food is on, and unhealthy foods is on the left side. And the right side is the clinic. It's a process. And who gets the profit? The pharmaceutical industry. They're on top of the triangle. So as believers, we have to know that, like, hey, we always say we're not of this world. We always say renew your mind, but it's time for us to renew our plate. Our plate doesn't need to look like a morgue. It needs to look like a garden.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, funeral bills and hospital bills are very expensive. And it's time, I'm not generalizing all churches, but it's time for us to invest in our health, really dig into what God has created for us to nourish our body. You don't have to, I've been in, I heard some things where believers would be like, oh, the spirit of diabetes, the spirit of cancer. No, the spirit of lack of self-control.
Yeah.
We have to understand,
good.
once you understand, look, your body is made up of trillions of cells. From those cells, it builds organs, and from them cells, it builds systems. If you have weak cells, chronic inflammation can happen in the body. Your immune system begins to weaken. We have to really understand that, like, God created us in a unique way. We like to say we're wonderfully and fearfully made, but you got to live in that. So that's my message to the world. Invest in health now, so later on you don't have to invest in hospital bills. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, you guys heard it here. Make sure that you invest in your health now, so you're not investing in the hospital bills later. Thank you guys so much for being here for today's episode. We love you guys. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And YouTube is suggesting a video right now on the screen that it thinks that you personally will enjoy. I hope that you'll check it out. If not, I'll see you in the next one. God bless you guys. Peace.